Hi, it's Fred!
Where'd you move here from, dumb?
Hi, it's Fred!
This is every Fred movie because I have no content right now, and then, yeah.
Dumbsville, if you're watching Sonic videos again, I'm gonna be really pissed off. Dumbsville, are you praying?
Butters, I found God.
What?
Come on, look!
Hi, it's Fred! Today's Friday! Oh my god,
What? How, and why?
I should really get a new TV.
So because this is a review and we need the obligatory opener in order to hopefully create a decent intro point,
Hey, cool mug.
I'm going to pretend not to know about this movie, which will lead me to ask the question, what are we watching?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Butters. Fred the Movie is a movie based on Fred, the YouTube show. Remember Fred?
Not by choice, but yes.
Well, in 2010, there was a movie based on him. Originally, it was going to be released theatrically, but the film actually ended up premiering on Nickelodeon to a glowing critical reception of 0%.
This piece of shit was planned for a theatrical release.
Okay, how are you people getting into my house?
What you guys talking about?
Okay, the joke is funny for like 5 minutes, now it's just invasion of privacy. Of course, with such glowing reception, this film led to an entire trilogy and a TV show.
So, that's it? Wow, I can't wait to watch this movie now.
Actually, you can't. Not digitally, at least.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah, for no discernible reason I could find, Fred the Movie is unavailable digitally, even though Fred 2 and 3 and even the TV show are available. This means I had to fast-track a DVD copy of Fred the Movie, and now I own it physically.
Do you regret your purchase?
Not one bit. You see, Fred the Movie is a hidden masterpiece that only Martin Scorsese could appreciate.
You're being sarcastic, right?
Wanna find out?
I think this man has just gone completely insane.
I mean, we could just not watch the movie and let his money go to waste.
Okay, I clicked the play button and now we're watching the movie.
Hi, it's Fred!
So this is what we're doing.
Ah, finally, a character I can relate to on a personal level. So Fred's making a YouTube video, I think? Even though he has no camera, he's just kinda talking to himself.
We then cut to Fred's school, where he's being ultra quirky and weird by randomly saying hi to people.
See ya.
He's also in high school, despite his school being a middle school.
This is where we meet Judy, who's Fred's love girl victim. Oh, also she's British. Why does the frame just freeze? This feels like it was edited on Windows Movie Maker.
Because keyframing text is hard.
Oh my god, she said my name.
Whoa, what the shit?
Oh my god, he's basically Ted fucking Bundy.
So anyways, Fred stalks Judy like he's in Metal Gear Solid 5, and he arrives home, and that's about it. This is where we meet Kevin, and if you couldn't tell, he's the school bully.
He looks like Ness in real life. Wait, actually, Fred kinda looks like Lucas, and his real name is Lucas.
Raiden, turn the game console off right now.
What did you say?
The mission is a failure. Cut the power right now.
You might not have been able to tell, but that girl I walked home with?
Why is it superimposed and masked like that? Did I edit this stupid movie?
Did you edit this movie?
I will neither confirm nor deny these allegations. Anyway, so literally a bunch of filler happens.
Oh no,
And that's about it.
My dad doesn't care either. Mostly because, he's not here.
He doesn't have a father, but he's not.
Bluebot, you can't say that.
What? I was going to say poor. Or black.
So, from what I can gather from the filler, Fred is simping over Judy.
I'm taking things to the next level with Judy.
And I have to say, this film was ahead of its time on such contemporary themes. Once again, Scorsese would be proud. Anyway, so once again, more filler happens.
And I pay her back by filling the whole entire house with beautiful music. Somebody call 911!
You know, this is beautiful music.
You're a 100 Gex fan. Of course you would think high-pitched singing is good.
He just needs auto-tune and he'll be the hyperpop star of the century. So more filler happens.
Today was the worst Friday ever!
And we get a flashback scene of bullying. And then Julia comes out and she's all like,
Kevin, just leave him alone!
19 pounds in video game currency.
I'm sure she won't end up falling for him in the end.
We then get a even more filler.
I say oh my damn it because I'm not allowed to say bad words. Oh my damn it, it's Weezer! I love music class because, well, I'm a great singer.
Because it was so funny the first time, it had to be played a second time.
I'm realizing more and more that Fred is a lol cow.
Can you never say lol cow ever again?
What the fuck? What's even going on?
Is that what kids are into? Pointless scenes of Fred eating food and screaming? Anyway, so Fred picks out a shirt, and they're all the same shirt.
Okay, come on, that's kind of funny.
You think distorted vine booms and fart sounds are funny. He then keeps going on about Judy, before going into a fantasy where he's talking with her at a pool.
I've just had a law passed that will have Kevin arrested for the way he sang to you.
Whoa, what the fuck? This is actually Fred martial law.
I can't tell who's worse, Ironwood threatening to nuke civilians in Ruby, or Fred banning shitty singers. Fred then reveals there's a wall between him and Judy, and he wants to break it down. So basically,
Hey, no politics here.
But racism is fine.
Oh yeah, of course it is. It's based.
I like you.
this is where we meet Bertha. She's the edgy one.
Holy shit, she's emo and played by Jeanette McCurdy. Man, if I were in high school, this would be my dream gamer girl. Actually, how old was she when she filmed this?
Holy shit, I'm gonna come.
She then leaves the scene. Bye-bye, semi-interesting character. Fred then goes inside and wishes for one thing, the advice of his absent father.
Dad, what do you think I should do?
Hey, how is that chair moving by itself?
What are you, blind?
Huh? But there's no one in the chair.
He's right there.
I think this movie's getting too spooky for me.
Stop it.
Okay, all joking aside though, John Cena is easily the best part of this movie. His acting and line delivery is actually really good, and dare I say it, he's actually funny.
No!
I wonder if John Cena used this for his audition tape before he was cast in Bumblebee.
You gotta look at yourself and say, my time is now!
And his name is
Deadly Next DDD.
That's it! I've got to invite Judy over so we can harmonize together. Because harmonizing with me will be so much smoother.
Was that a fucking sex joke?
Maybe? I'm not entirely sure. I feel like anything could be a sex joke in this movie. We then cut to another imagination scene. What is even happening anymore? Okay, let me try to piece this together. So we cut to Fred. He's sad about Judy, and then gets mad when he sees Kevin dancing in front of a mirror.
Yeah, this is normal. So Fred decides to go outside and face his bully.
Hey, Fiddlehorn, where are you going? Huh?
None of your business, Kevin.
Holy shit, Lois. This reminds me of the freaking subway scene in Joker.
How you guys gonna do that?
Yeah, she hates everyone who can't sing, Kevin.
I can sing. This whole neighborhood knows.
The thing is, I killed you once. And it's not like I am fucking crazy.
I don't know which is dumber, the sports-focused, overly masculine jock getting defensive over his singing talent, or getting offended by Fred.
You know, this reminds me of my own high school experience. I'm glad I grew up and changed.
Fred is then scared away by Kevin because he's a pussy, so he needs to come up with a different plan. However, his monologuing is interrupted by his mom, a character who is somehow just as obnoxious as Fred.
Fred, what's going on in here?
Mom, I thought someone was gonna attack me.
This movie's pacing is like pulling at your own toenails. After that depressing character introduction, Fred attempts to figure out a different plan of action.
Judy has such a beautiful southern accent.
But she's British.
But then John Cena comes back. I think, I'm not sure, I still don't see him. So after a pep talk from Jorp Cena, Fred gives the wall another go.
This leads him to grabbing a trampoline and falling over a number of times. Does this man-child not know how to jump?
So after a bunch of epic fails, Fred attempts Minecraft digging.
Ow.
Surprisingly enough, Fred finally digs his way to Judy's house, but dead.
Oh my damn, I dug all the way to China!
Thank you, Fred, for such insightful information.
Fred then takes a bath, completely sensually, I might add.
Wait, he takes a bath with his suspenders on?
Fred then orders an invisibility cloak, and he imagines himself using it, but it turns out it's a complete scam in real life!
That's what the kids call epic fail.
So he goes into his mom's closet and becomes a femboy. I relate, Fred. I relate. So Fred goes to Judy's house, but the Asian family is still there.
Oh my damn it, Asian people kidnapped Judy! I don't know who to call. I don't even know what number to call. Somebody call
A
now.
third time. It was barely funny the first time.
Why do I have to be subjected to this horde humor? But Spritzy doesn't.
Because she's getting the groceries.
What do you mean I can't get the discount if I don't have the value card?
It's a value member only discount. You can't get the discount if you don't have the card.
Oh, that's just stupid. I bet Butters and Lubot are having a better time over at Dumbsville's place.
They're over at Dumbsville's?
Why the fuck do you work at a grocery store, Spook?
So Fred calls 911.
Hello?
It doesn't work so well.
I'm not saying I wouldn't hang up on him too, but that's not a very good 911 operator.
But then it's revealed by Fred's mom that Judy moved.
Judy moved? Where to?
Jesus Christ! Are we sure this is a kid's movie?
Why didn't you tell me?
I feel like I'm watching Marriage Story.
What's a marriage story?
Okay, you're uncultured. Anyway, so Fred throws a 3-minute tantrum and then goes to bed.
I'm so alone. It
Why?
hurts so much.
Stop singing.
But then John Cena comes in the middle of the night.
Fred!
If you tell anyone about this, we'll both get in trouble.
And takes Fred away in a fucking tank.
Is this Fred or a Call of Duty campaign?
Check it out, it's right there. It's classified.
Okay, that was funny.
Okay, you got me. One laugh. You know, this scene is actually funny. The comedic timing is funny. The juxtaposition is hilarious. It's a nice little military spoof. I wish the movie did more with it. It could have been a pretty interesting genre blend spoof movie. And then we go back to the actual movie.
I got it. Judy wants me to come find her.
I really doubt that, dog.
I found Judy's address.
Holy fuck, he just doxed her.
Wow, he really is a Discord admin.
Ew.
How did he zoom in that far? So Fred brings up his fear of the woods, which begins a flashback scene. Spoiler alert, this is a one-off joke and has no impact on the plot whatsoever.
Fred then packs up for the bus ride, has another goofy imagination sequence, steals his mom's money, and leaves.
This is how Earthbound begins.
Kevin then bothers Fred, and that's about it. Fred then boards the bus to Judy's house.
But it turns out Fred took the wrong bus.
Kevin knew all the bus stops and where they were going if I got the right bus.
We then meet Durf, who is Fred's imaginary friend, and is ultra cool.
So Fred created an imaginary friend for this particular instance.
Unless, of course, this is the Fred multiverse theory.
Where's Judy?
She's my, girlfriend.
No, she's not.
So he also created an imaginary friend to convince him of things he doesn't believe? Is Durf Fred's Tyler Durden?
Been whacking me really hard and then
Wow, Fred is so annoying that he annoys himself.
Fred then gets off the bus and sees a water park. A really lame one, too. And we're reintroduced to Bertha. And for some reason, the writing gets better.
I asked you a question. Are you Dong Ye Fong?
What's Dong Ye Fong?
Deaf. You had ong to each consonant. Dong, E, A, Fong.
This is beyond weird. Whenever it's a character who isn't Fred, the dialogue is genuinely funny and kind of good, and yet, if it is Fred, it's like needles in your ears and your brain.
She then puts Fred in the sand for no reason. He then eats a fly because that's funny, and then hallucinates Kevin saving Judy. And that's about it.
After this escapade, Fred goes to the laundromat to get cleaned off, and... oh no, that is an image I did not want to see. Fred getting naked.
no.
Pierre, you wanna come out here?
Get your butt out of here.
So, since getting naked isn't allowed, Fred is kicked out of the laundromat, which leads him to go to a car wash to get clean.
This is just Tuesday for me.
It's about to get frightening cause I'm out with
So Fred goes to a dog store, exclaiming that there's squirrels.
They sell squirrels.
This leads to a scene that lasts way too long of Fred, our likable protagonist, trying to illegally steal a dog. So not only is this literally filler, but it makes Fred even more unlikable. Did the guys who wrote Emo the Musical write this shit?
My God, Gary! He's a gangbanger!
Excuse me? What? I'm not sure the writers knew what gangbanging means.
This is not the time for your drama, okay?
This is amazing. We have a gay black man and an Italian man in a relationship afraid of gangbangers. Fred was inclusive before it was cool.
Jeez, this movie is so mean-spirited. It's like pulling off your toenails.
Pulling off your toenails is mean-spirited?
Yeah, it's not very nice.
Do Legos have toes?
Anyways, so Fred meets up with a Mexican man.
Are you a spaceman? Is that what you are?
Dios mío, no me gusta la tonada de tu voz.
It's like the screenwriters knew.
So Fred screams for 50 years and approaches a dam.
That's one big goddamn dam.
Damn and diddy!
Damn, Daniel!
You know what this dam is made out of, don't you?
Forced labor.
So after some convincing by this guy, Fred is forced to confront the woods. This is where Fred meets
You a good singer.
a talking deer.
Walking through the woods.
You know, this would be funnier if it was significant to the plot. This is finally when we get the payoff to that one flashback from earlier. We see the kid from the flashback Fred played ball with. This leads to Fred screaming, and that's the scene. Why? That would have made for a way more interesting plot than whatever creepy high school romance thing they're doing.
We then see Kevin driving with his mom and bullying Fred, and that's about it. And then Kevin...
One more. Kevin, no.
I'm gonna tell Dad!
Don't tell him.
What the fuck? That's kind of fucked up.
Hey, I got a new tagline for this movie. Fred the Movie, a movie about domestic violence.
We are then introduced to Durf. Thank God. Can we get a Durf spinoff? He's easily the best character who isn't Bertha.
Fred then gets back on the bus and is back on the trail to Judy's house.
We then have another random hallucination sequence. Once again, no bearings on the plot whatsoever.
And this sequence is dragged out for so long, too, and halts the pace completely. It's basically one big red herring. Why couldn't we have more over-the-top crazy shit like the military part? That scene was funny.
Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
Anyways, so Fred wakes up.
Oh my god, the bus!
We then get a shot of the map.
Oh shit, write that down. I need this for my archival of Fred lore.
You're writing down and archiving Fred lore?
Yes!
Why does this song sound like a MIDI arrangement?
So Fred pulls up to the party and acts all goofy and weird at a party that, it turns out, he wasn't invited to. Woo! So Judy's all like, Fred, you should leave! But Fred's all like, no way.
Fred is the living embodiment of okay and...
Why are you being like this?
Oh my god, I can't do this.
I just realized this movie is literally Joker.
No, shut...
No, hear me out. Both films are about a mentally deranged main character who fantasize and hallucinate a lot, imagine things that don't really happen, especially in regards to women. They both see their fathers as popular celebrities. They both have deadbeat mothers. They're both societal outcasts. They both have dreams involving the entertainment industry. There's even a dance scene between the two of them. I could literally go on, dude. This shit is crazy.
I really hate you. You know that, right?
So Kevin puts the pizza on Fred, and he vomits for no reason.
He didn't even ingest anything. Does Fred have, like, a condition? I think you might need to check that out.
He then runs out completely embarrassed, and Judy semi-runs after him, because this is indeed a generic teen movie.
Nothing more romantic than showing up to your party uninvited and vomiting all over you. Actually, that's probably a fetish somewhere.
Let me tell you about a girl that I know.
So Fred goes home and reenacts the PTSD scene from Apocalypse Now.
Freddie! Honey, who are you talking to?
Wait, so he was talking to no one? Does Fred have schizophrenia or something?
It's then revealed that Fred's incident was posted on the internet because this is indeed a movie about YouTube.
47 people have seen this already? 51 people now, 51!
This joke would be funnier if YouTube's view count was actually in real time.
Wait a minute, download this song? This isn't a song though.
And what's with those videos on the sidebar? Just got back? Beachcombers? Jeff's party?
I've had no luck locating them on the site.
Ancient artifacts lost in the sands of time.
Why do people even watch other people on YouTube? It's weird, it's creepy. I'm gonna have a party, and no one's gonna be invited.
There's gonna be a lot of gay.
Wow, that was a really funny Has-Been Hotel joke. You get that image off my screen now. Fred then goes around uninviting people.
What is this?
I'm having a party and you can't come.
How about another joke, Miranda?
Well, it looks like you got my message that you're not invited to my party!
Fred then shows up to Bertha's house, attempting to uninvite her. However, it turns out she thinks the video of Fred vomiting is cringy.
Bertha is the inventor of cringe compilations.
I create Vine compilations.
So Fred decides to invite Bertha to his party, and she agrees.
If only Jeanette McCurdy would do the same for her acting career.
So they end up faking a big ol' music video for their party. And it's full of fake mannequins, spin the bottle, pink vomit, and blowjobs. What?
But you know what? It is really sweet that Fred confides in Bertha and moves on from Judy.
Too bad this movie completely fucking ruins it the very next scene, because this is a movie creatively devoid of good ideas.
Meanwhile, everyone at Fred's school is jealous of his totally awesome party.
Was this movie written in the 90s?
It was an epic fail of
the
Freds.
Why?
That's what the kids call epic fail.
Where did they even film this? Was this during actual school hours?
We need to find this school. We need America's future children to go here. It's then implied that the one guy in the window who did this shit joke is Fred's real dad. So the shit joke was a plot point?
You see, I told you this was like Joker.
Can you shut the fuck up? So, anyways, no. Judy arrives at Fred's house and ends the film on the most generic note possible.
And what's even worse, Fred chose this E-thought over the goth GF? I'm very disappointed. So they tell each other they'll sing together. Fred smiles and screams, and the movie ends. Go fuck yourself. So that was Fred the movie, and call me crazy, but I saw potential in it.
Don't tell me you actually enjoyed it.
Oh no, the movie's dog shit. But there are things I actually really liked about it. Some of the jokes were funny, especially with some some of the more over-the-top moments, and I feel like the movie could have been a pretty decent surrealist black comedy. The issue is that it is a kids movie, so a lot of the jokes come off as mean-spirited and cruel, and in the worst possible way. Furthermore, the main character of Fred is a terrible main character. He's obnoxious, creepy, and whiny, and yet the film plays it off like we're supposed to like him. And furthermore, the ending once again basically ruins everything.
It felt like an Air Buddies movie that got dropped on his head, and all of the following scenes are the delusional fever dream of a child who survived a horrendous car accident.
And you know what, Butters? I have to agree with those lines you pre-recorded for me and I didn't listen to until just now editing this video. Now, if you excuse me, I'm throwing a party.
Wait, is this a Fred the movie reference?
Why, yes it is, and I'm also your father.
Wait. What?
That's right, I'm your dad, and I'm John Cena.
What the fuck?
It's all in your head, Butters. We couldn't come up with a better ending for this.
No. The prophecy.
The gig is up, Fred.
Osama bin Laden.
So you're telling me that making mustard gas violates the Geneva Convention?
Yes, absolutely, incredibly illegal. Jesus Christ!
I'm back.
Dumsy, where the fuck have you been? It's been like over half a year.
I was trapped in Kanye's basement.
When did you get an eye patch?
Don't question it, because questioning things is for pussies.
Why not? I think
Shut the fuck up. I make money, racks, and I sleep with women.
That's a lie, and you know it.
I'm joining Lubot. Fuck this.
Well, thank God you are, because I don't associate with horses.
Well, we've been waiting for you, or at least I have, I think. Anyways, want to watch Fred 2?
No.
No, isn't that literally your job?
Oh, who do you think I am, Kara?
Well, yeah, but you make good content.
Debatable. So, happy Halloween, everyone.
Wait, this is a Halloween episode?
Well, I mean, why else did we take months to actually do this?
Because you overdosed on ibuprofen and Zyrtec.
No, like the lore reason.
Didn't you review both of the sequels with Ellis Mark, you cheating bastard?
I don't know who you're talking about. Anyways, Fred 2, Five Nights at Freddy's. It's a sequel to Fred the movie, and it's a Halloween special.
Ooh, that's why we waited months,
Okay, Butters, the bit's over.
So apparently Nickelodeon thought the first movie was so good that it deserved a sequel. 2 of them. And a TV show.
At long last, my Fred multiverse theory is coming to life.
Let's just put the damn thing in. So our film opens with, what else? The Screaming Banshee himself.
My life is a horror movie. It's so scary.
No one cares that you're scared.
He's just like me, for real, for real.
Specially abled?
Oh, you bet your ass I am.
You'll be scared and scarred. Scared. That's a new word I just made up.
First joke of the movie, and it already makes no sense.
I'm gonna go get a snack.
What the fuck is that walk?
Bro, he's just crip walking, bro.
So Fred explains that he broke up with Judy via a bad green screen and a Casablanca reference.
Which, by the way, totally isn't meant to hide the fact that the actress, Pixie Lott, refused to come back for Fred 2. I mean, look at this shot. It's just Fred in a wig.
Wow, look. Trans Fred.
Wait, Butters, is that what trans people are like in real life?
No, Dumbsville, but this is what you're like in real life.
Hey, flattery will get you nowhere.
Yeah.
Did you edit this movie?
We did this bit already.
Yes or no?
Kiss my ass! So Fred gushes over his music teacher or something, who is comedically deaf, only to reveal that one day she disappeared.
She probably just got hit by a school bus in the parking lot.
Fred is then suddenly
molested.
Fred is then suddenly jump scared by this guy, who is his new music teacher.
I know Ralph already said it, but it's so hard not to look at this guy and think that the screen directions were be as pedophilic as humanly possible.
Didn't seem like you were kidding.
So, after that encounter, Fred then talks about how he was stalked by a woman, I guess?
Someone followed me, a stalker!
Pot calling the kettle black, Fred.
Fred finally understands the female plight. Of course, since Fred is a total moron, this woman is, in reality, just walking normally.
So Fred runs away anyways, where Fred lands in a kiddie pool and...
What the fuck? Anyways, so it turns out that the music teacher is moving into Fred's block. We then get a funny scream from Fred.
Mr. Devlin, the weird new...
To be fair, he has a right to be afraid. This looks like the kind of girl who believes in rocks.
So Fred arrives home.
I'm so scared. Now Now do you see why?
What the fuck is this? Did he just freeze frame a cutaway? Can Fred bend space and time to his will?
Holy shit, write that down.
Cut to Fred meeting up with Bertha, who is now not played by Jeanette McCurdy. How do you boycott a movie that's already out?
I must admit, though, she is dripping. She looks just like a Scott Pilgrim fan.
You mean you?
No. I look like Obi-Wan, dumbass.
Oh, shit. You're supposed to be Obi-Wan? I thought you were fucking Art Garfunkel.
What the fuck? He wasn't even the bearded one.
So Fred complains to Bertha about the missing music teacher, until they're approached by the one girl that's stalking him.
And the two of them start hitting it off a little too well.
This is how I get to school.
Then why have I never seen you walk this way to school then?
Because I didn't start this school until this year.
Fred, don't date the freshman. It's a trap.
Cut to music class where we see...
Kevin, my favorite.
Yeah, we see Kevin singing.
And anyone will be ready for the recital.
I'm gonna kick some piano butt at the recital.
What's that even supposed to mean?
Means you should shut up. Shut up!
We then have one of Fred's patented imagination scenes, where he duels Kevin in a piano match.
Only for us to get back to... I did not edit that, I swear to God.
You definitely edited this movie, didn't you?
I just said I did. So anyways, Fred sucks at piano or something, and that's about it. He then whines about how good he is at piano to the woman character or something. And she responds with,
I made you a cookie in chemistry class.
Yep, that's 100% a weed cookie.
It's 100% chemicals.
Yep, that's meth.
So Fred starts freaking out.
What if Tally is a ghost?
Bertha saw her.
I am a ghost, Fred.
What the fuck is happening?
Now I am doomed to walk among...
Awesome.
Isn't that meme dead?
Who gives a shit? Not me.
Those shoes are pretty swank.
I will say the humor in this movie is actually an improvement. It's not exactly amazing, but there are more jokes than just screaming.
We then meet up with Fred's mom, everyone's favorite character. We're also introduced to Kevin's mom, who is...
Holy shit, I just realized that's Flo from Progressive.
Holy shit, write that down immediately.
Raiden, turn the game console off right now.
So Fred's invited to Kevin's Halloween party.
With that comes a lot of sacrifice, and part of that sacrifice is not getting invited to a lot of parties.
Why did she say parties like that?
Can't tell if she's an amazing actress or a dog shit actress. It's scaring me. It's almost like the actress is just as miserable as the character.
So Fred starts freaking out, but thankfully Juan Cena pops out of the fridge, who apparently, despite the last movie confirming that it wasn't John Cena, Fred still imagines him as John Cena.
I do find it funny though that John Cena just lives in Fred's fridge with a bunch of V8, Sunny D, and backwards turned Dasani and Prego so you can't see the label except for the one Dasani container on the top of the fucking fridge.
Anyway, so Fred pulls up and hops out at the after party.
Is this what Fred thinks is dressing nice? A suit coat over his regular outfit. So some shit happens at Kevin's Halloween party, including Fred's mom hitting on Mr. Pedo. What a surprise, the prostitute wants to fuck the pedophile.
Cut inside to where...
Hey, Wang Chung tonight.
What?
Anyways, Fred confronts Kevin and completely destroys him.
You know, you look like Robert Pattinson if he were stupid.
Get it? Because Twilight was popular back then. But then Talia is suddenly at this party.
Jailbait? What do you mean by that?
She's trying to lure Fred and then sue him for a statutory violation.
I don't think that's...
So it's revealed that Talia is actually Kevin's sister.
What are you doing talking to my sister?
Which leads to screaming. Of course. Okay, what the fuck? Why is that actually funny? If it weren't for the screaming, the slapstick would actually be pretty well executed.
Fred then arrives home and... No!
Fuck me, why do we need this shit?
So anyways, Fred decides to investigate the teacher.
Wait, his alarm is still Judy?
Man, Fred, you gotta get over her, bro. So Fred uses the invisibility cloak from the first movie.
But it clearly didn't work before. Why would it work now?
So Fred spies on Mr. Pedo, who apparently can't hear his weird-ass grunts and screams. He then runs inside and thinks the teacher is a murderer who killed his previous teacher.
But then, his pancake starts beating and...
Well, it's official. Fred is fucking schizophrenic.
So Fred starts throwing around secrets, like the fact that his teacher's an alien.
He's an alien, Bertha.
We then get a scene where Fred imagines... What the fuck? Yeah, I don't think we can show that.
This film screams, we didn't care, so we went apeshit.
Ready to go to class?
So, was Fred on the floor for the entire scene? Anyways, so Fred asks Talia why she hasn't existed until now. The answer is retcon.
This leads to a flashback where Fred is in some mob trip. God damn!
Wow, this is certainly a Nickelodeon film. So Fred gets Fred Zone.
I like you, Fred.
Let me tell you about a girl that I know.
But it turns out she has a crush on him, because of course she does.
Man, how is Fred getting more pussy than me? So anyways, Fred looks at a cereal box, and now thinks that Mr. Pedo is a vampire, I guess?
Mr. Devlin is a vampire!
Thank you for the amazing insight, Fred.
Wait, so Mr. Pedo is a Playboy Cardi fan?
We then cut to a Twilight reference, because if you couldn't tell, this was a popular movie at the time. Which reminds me, when are you doing the second Twilight movie, Dumsy?
I don't know what that is.
The gig is up, Fred.
We have my sister.
Yo, Playboy Cardi?
Who the fuck are you talking about?
Shut up, I'm buying Rick Owens right now. So after a joke from Vampires Suck.
What the hell is Vampires Suck?
God, I wish I were you.
You know what's below my waist? My penis.
Nobody's laughing.
So after that, Fred starts describing vampire weaknesses.
They can't see their own reflection, and aside from crosses, they don't like silver, garlic,
And most importantly, stock images.
most importantly, they cannot come into your house unless you invite them in.
Or that, I guess.
Unfortunately, it turns out Fred's forced to invite him in since his mom is dating him.
So Fred and Bertha stalk them, I guess, on the Fred site.
Wait, Fred built that? I didn't think he'd fancy himself a carpenter. Maybe Fred was Jesus all along.
You could probably afford a lot nicer than this, huh?
Actually, I was going to say on a teacher's salary, I usually just eat toast.
Did Fred just include social commentary about the teacher's salary? So the two sneak into the kitchen, only for an employee to spot them.
You're late. Put this on and get on the grill.
Wait, so they just hire him? I wish getting a job was that easy. So Fred starts harassing his fellow employees, because it's not a Fred movie if he's not randomly harassing people.
You can make anything taste good.
Oh, yeah? What about my sock?
That looks like it's covered in piss, shit, cum, piss. Meanwhile, Bertha is in disguise as a waitress.
Where she got her disguise is beyond me, but it turns out the pedo might be a vampire all along, dropping extremely on-the-nose hints.
Extra, extra rare. Bloody. And hold the garlic fries, please.
I guess I sucked the out of those kids.
So as Fred is presenting his sock, Bertha tells Fred about the teacher's supposed plan to suck the life out of these kids. The writers had to know what they were doing.
So they go back home, I guess, and Fred's mom, I guess, acts like she just watched Cruella and enjoyed it, which, to be fair, you have to be like Fred's mom to actually enjoy Cruella.
He's a nice man, Freddie. He's very interested in you.
I swear, these pedophile jokes write themselves. So Fred continues to stalk his teacher, only to see him with a bloody apron and a knife. Guess he really was the imposter.
Fred then falls out the window and meets up with John Cena again.
We then get an entire wrestling match where Fred and John Cena fight Kevin and the pedophile teacher. If there's one thing you can't say about this movie, it's that it isn't batshit insane.
They're vampires, son.
Wait, they're vampires now? Does that mean Kevin's a vampire? When was this established?
I love how he also considers biting people on their neck to be too gay for him.
Disgusting. The other vampires would think we're dating.
So Fred then wakes up back in his bed, as per usual, then goes back to bed and wakes up for school the next morning, complaining to Bertha again, only for the teacher to encounter him for some blood.
I'm going to need some of your blood.
But it turns out that it's only for the blood drive. What a goofy misunderstanding.
I feel great.
Well, you look terrible.
Yeah, well, look better than you.
Did Kevin just get his feelings hurt by Fred? Anyways, Fred complains to Talia about an upcoming
I
recital.
want to show you something. I made these hand puppets.
Excuse me?
Okay, well, there's no way to defend that.
Nah, she's just being a Gemini. She's a little quirky.
I like you, Fred. I'm not sure I'm ready to say how I feel about you yet, Talia.
She's literally trying to bait him.
You know, this is how I actually hit on women. I call it game dude style.
How well has that been working out for you?
Well, I'm dating this girl named Restraining Order. I think she's French.
She sounds lovely. Like 90 Days in Prison lovely.
Hurry up, Mr. Devlin is waiting.
So Fred arrives home and
Talia's under a spell, too!
apparently thinks she's under a spell. But then John Cena comes out. Ah, clearly he's playing Call of Duty Vanguard.
So Taiwan Cena talks about,
You gotta suck his blood.
What the hell?
Suck his blood before he sucks yours.
Damn, John Cena's kind of a freak. It's turning me on.
shut the fuck up. Was this even like in the script? I feel like John Cena was improvising this. Imagine the deleted cuts, god damn. So Fred goes over to Bertha's, but it turns out that Mr. Pedo is helping her practice on her MIDI keyboard.
She's very talented.
I'm helping her learn Certified Lover Boy, or as I call it back home, Certified Boy Lover.
So Fred freaks out and realizes he has to fight his teacher on his own.
I'll need a cross.
So he grabs a cross sign, only to be encountered by Durf?
Holy shit, Fred's Tyler Durden. Just a shame he's not important to the plot.
So Fred enters a Chinese restaurant, and finally it's time for some good old family-friendly racism.
So he orders some garlic sauce, scares the employees, and leaves, and that's about it.
Fred then grabs some water guns in order to prepare for the vampire hunting, but not before we get a hilarious fourth wall break.
Why are you talking like that? Are you pretending you're in a movie or something?
So now it's the big night. So Fred walks in and no Russian's the teacher.
I am so sorry. He hasn't been himself since the day he was born.
Not gonna lie, that's an amazing line. Good job, Fred, too. You had better dialogue than insert topical modern movie here.
Everybody stay where you are.
The gig is up, Fred.
But it turns out, as per Fred movie tradition, this is just all a dream sequence, followed by an epic, embarrassing failure, where Fred just sprays random people. Why doesn't he spray the threat first?
Because then it wouldn't be an epic fail.
Don't worry, Talia. I'm here to protect you.
So Fred's mom's all like, "You're a failure, Fred." And Talia's mad at him the next day to boot.
Wow, why is the woman I sprayed garlic sauce with mad at me?
Why would she be scared, Bertha?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe because a crazy person sprayed garlic in her face yesterday.
Oh my gammon, who did that?
I swear Fred has some advanced form of autism.
Fred then gets bullied by Kevin, I guess. But then Mr. Pedo Teacher is just standing on the staircase. And he's all like,
You obviously have the wrong impression of me.
"I'm a child groomer, not a vampire."
So he invites Fred to dinner. So we get Fred screaming as per usual.
At this point, I'm honestly numb to it. So Fred's going to use this moment to expose Mr. Devlin.
And I'm bringing a secret weapon with me. This.
An iPhone?
Wow, basic modern technology. What a secret weapon.
So apparently Fred plans to put up a live stream on YouTube touring his teacher's house. Wow, I can't believe this film predicted YouTube live streaming.
Tries anything. The whole world will see it on the website.
Or just call 911.
Also, BlueTube. Did they lose the rights to YouTube that they had in the first movie?
So Fred arrives at the teacher's house, and he's playing on a pure red piano, which I need right now.
Welcome to my home.
Please remove all articles of clothing. My SpongeBob retrospective is in the kitchen. So Fred starts streaming, and he's gaining traction, with even Kevin getting interested for some reason.
You gotta watch Figglehorn's website right now, man.
Wait, so Fred has a whole website. So, like, is Fred already E-famous?
You'd think he wouldn't be bullied nearly as much if he was proving himself to be more successful.
What? They're playing My Chemical Romance! Nicole, you know I'm scared of emo!
Fred then gets freaked out and stumbles into a strangely, easily accessible secret room. Is this another dream sequence?
Holy shit, better question. Is that the hall between the sets? You can literally see the crates and the stage lights and everything. Did they really get that lazy?
Mr. Pedo then finds Fred in his $10 whatever the fuck this is Halloween costume.
I thought this was just how all pedophiles dress. Look, he's even got the katana collection. Definitely a pedophile.
Fred then drops his phone in this pot, ending the stream. But turns out it's all one massive misunderstanding.
Man, I could have never predicted this throughout the entire movie.
So why are you so interested in Korean food?
Because, Fred, I'm a pedophile weeaboo.
And you know what? Call me crazy, but this teacher's backstory is genuinely interesting, and the way he bonds with Fred is really heartwarming. There's even a part where they bond over their absent fathers and their love for music.
Did you ever miss your dad when you were growing up?
A lot.
Yeah, I really miss my dad.
You see, that moment's way better than it has any right to be. I really like this scene. It's really good.
Are you really praising Fred 2 right now?
You know what? Yeah, I think I am. So the next day, Fred comes to school and is praised for his epic live stream. It's also revealed that Mr. Pedo was fired, all due to Fred.
So Fred runs back to Mr. Pedo's house, only to be locked out and for his video to be discovered by the teacher himself.
Thank you. I know it's pretty poggers. I do the...
Fred then runs home and feels bad for doing the bad things that he did.
Browser copter. Is that how many hits are on my website?
So Fred predicted commentary then? Wait, only 1,400 views? That's barely anything. That's gotta be like 5 cents in ad revenue.
You would also think that live footage of a teacher being ousted as a threat to students would have a little more coverage than 1,200 views. So after kicking out the teacher, Dead Poet Society style, Fred decides to...
I'm going to convince everyone that I'm a vampire so they're mad.
Yeah, that.
This leads to a shitty montage, just like the first movie, where Fred and Bertha do some weird shit. People making this really couldn't help themselves to not retread old ground.
Talia then re-enters the movie, I guess, who I'm just now realizing is a completely pointless character, who actively ruins any potential this movie does have. Like, wouldn't it be kind of cool if this movie were about Fred and Bertha's relationship? That would actually be a really cool straight line.
You're giving this movie too much credit. Stop it.
Everybody's weird. There's just some people who like to act like they're normal.
Some people just wanna be Jomker.
Meanwhile, we cut to Kevin watching mariachi. What the fuck is this dude into?
Meanwhile, at Fred's place again.
Are you Fred's girlfriend?
I'm a girl, and I'm Fred's friend.
Fuck, dude, they're toying with us.
Go write your Fred fanfiction.
Give it back! This isn't right, that was ours!
How do I look?
Like a Fredophile.
So, long story short, they lure Kevin and his boys into thinking his sister is kidnapped by a vampire.
Devlin is going down.
So everyone starts gearing up, and Fred gets ready to prank Kevin.
Did Fred just say shit? So Kevin and the crew approach Mr. Pedo and threaten him, only for Bertha to reveal the real vampire.
There's no such thing as vampires.
Yes, there is. But it's not Devlin.
Playboy Cardi.
Never too much. Never too much.
Take this steak and just drive it into Fred's heart.
Go murder Fred. Please, I can't stand him anymore.
Come.
So Kevin stabs Fred and holy shit! did.
Holy shit, Kevin committed a homicide.
So after jump scaring Kevin like Golden Freddy, they saved the day, I think. All while the teacher was watching them.
I'm going to diddle you, Freddy boy.
You know, this is how Drake would say goodbye.
I've saved Mr. Devlin's career, and now I can sleep the sleep of the just.
What? And how will that save Mr. Peto's career? Wasn't it established that him being a creep was the reason he was kicked out?
Well, at least Taiwan isn't a real country. Cena is happy for him.
But it turns out the teacher actually quit the whole time. What a convenient and obligatory happy ending.
Oh, I didn't get fired, Fred. I quit.
But alas, because he is moving out, this is also an emotional ending.
I'm going to miss you, Mr. Devlin.
I'm going to miss you too, Fred.
How is about one more Cosmodore special for the road?
So anyways, Fred and Bertha walk home with the day saved, I think, and the verdict's still out in the air with that one.
And turns out Fred's not dating Talia, I guess.
I don't really think there's a future there.
Well, at least Fred's learning.
I need a woman who's going to challenge me a little more.
Clearly the editor didn't, but why the fuck would you want to fuck Fred anyways? Seems like a massive swing and a miss.
That's implying there was a swing in the first place.
Anyways, so Fred's mom and Mr. Peto go out one last time, I guess, but as Mr. Peto leaves, his reflection isn't in the mirror, and then the movie ends.
Welp, that was Fred too. And call me crazy, but there's stuff I liked more than the first movie, as well as stuff I really hated more than the first movie.
Like the fact that it was a Fred movie?
Well, Fred movie or not, Mr. Devlin may be a really creepy character, but the chemistry between him and Fred, especially in this scene, is really heartwarming. Plus, while the weirder scenes are really weird and out of place, there are times when they are genuinely funny, and the humor is overall a slight improvement. A slight one, though. I didn't say it was funny. I mean, overall, it's still an obnoxious Fred movie with a bland story, horrible editing, and whatever the fuck Talia was supposed to be. Overall, it's certainly a sequel to Fred the movie. So, Butters, what did you think?
Despair. I'd watch it as a bad Halloween movie, but like, this movie wasn't that good. But I couldn't watch the first Fred movie again, mostly just because it was that bad. I'd probably cut this movie short, like 20 minutes early. Well, now that that's over, I'm guessing we need to have some elaborate Halloween skit to go along with.
Nope, I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Oh, wait, you built all this lore for that?
Yep, goodbye.
You could have at least fixed the hole in my wall.
Every room in my house was constructed for a specific purpose.
I live in the American Gardens building on West 81st Street, on the 11th floor. I believe in taking care of myself, in a balanced diet and a rigorous exercise routine. In the morning, if my face is a little puffy, I'll put on an ice pack while doing my stomach crunches. I can do 1,000 now. After I remove the ice pack, I use a deep pore cleanser lotion. In the shower, I use a water-activated gel cleanser.
The Girl Scout convention, we don't want any of your cookies.
There is an idea of a Patrick Bateman. Some kind of abstraction, but there is no real me. And though I can hide my cold gaze, and you can shake my hand and feel flesh gripping yours, and maybe you can even sense our lifestyles are probably comparable, I simply am not there.
Hey guys, I'm Fred Figglehorn. I'm just going to apologize in advance for what I'm about to do.
Well, shit. Due to the events of my Chip and Dale review, my roof is now broken. And god damn it, I have lore again now, don't I? It's not even fun lore, it's just roof renovation. That costs me money. Oh god damn it, come on, I couldn't even foreshadow that one. Ah! How are these PNG tubers getting into my house?
Thumbsville, listen.
Oh hey, youtube.com/Fushia Butter. Do you look different?
Well, yeah, new stills.
Did you get new socks?
Yes, Dumbsville, that's exactly what happened.
Will, you crashed through my roof and put me into more home repair debt. You want to review Fred 3? Because I sure don't, but I need the money.
Do I get any money?
You're the one who broke my roof. But you can have this Vacation Bible School promo in an MP4 file. I found it on the side of the road.
I don't want that.
So Fred 3, let's just fucking get into it.
So our film opens with him.
Well, first things first, we gotta analyze the copyright-free room. We got the lava lamp, the jack-off Kleenex, and even some good old Ayn Rand.
Huh. I didn't take Fred for a reader. Anyways, so Fred wakes up and...
Today is my favorite day.
They really wanted these suicidal thoughts early, didn't they?
Why does Fred feel the need to tear off his clothes and wear a sequenced outfit underneath? Is there something Fred isn't telling us?
Look what's written under my toupee.
Well, there's something he didn't tell us. He's fucking bald.
So Fred's mom comes in and...
You know how I feel about opening musical numbers. You don't need some flashy song and dance to get people to like you, Fred.
How the fuck did they manage to make her worse?
So if you couldn't tell, school is ending for Fred. And if you also couldn't tell, this song number is horribly choreographed. It's probably the worst choreographed song number I've ever seen in my life. They all just don't want to be there.
I'd be too if I were in camp, fucking Fred.
Go back to whatever cruel meatloaf world you came from! Die! Die!
There's something inside you.
But it turns out the song number was in Fred's head, and everyone actually hates him. A classic Fred.
Hey, look, it's Kevin, and he still looks white as fuck. So did Fred lose all of his falsely accusing a teacher of being a pedophile and making him move out of town street cred? Wait a minute. Holy shit. Dumsy, we gotta redo that video so we can add a Morbius joke.
Anyways, Fred is hyped for summer camp and tells Bertha all about it.
I still haven't forgiven them for removing Jeanette McCurdy.
I'm pretty sure she left acting entirely at this point.
Not in my heart.
Anyways, Fred is getting ready for Camp Superior, which is apparently the best summer camp in the galaxy. Now, I may be the fucking old, but isn't summer camp a strictly middle school and under thing?
With that logic, Fred would be a counselor. Oh, and there's a funny cartoon sound effect.
Monkey butlers?
Monkey butlers?
Did you edit this movie?
So anyways, summer
Can you
camp.
believe I'm actually going to Camp Superior?
Can you believe it, guys?
Yeah, really moving up in the world.
However, it turns out Fred's mom couldn't afford Camp Superior.
How comedic. You can almost consider it funny.
Oh, you think that's funny? Guess what Fred's new camp he's actually going to is called?
Enlighten me.
It's called, I'm not joking here, Camp I Wanna Pee-Pee.
Camp, I want a pee-pee.
Now, what I should be pulling up?
Camp, I want a pee-pee.
I want a pee-pee.
Camp, I want a pee-pee.
Well, that makes sense. How else are we supposed to figure out that the camp is a bad camp? I'm a stupid 10-year-old. I don't know anything.
What's the difference? Camp is camp, right?
How the fuck does her acting get worse? And why the fuck is she sunbathing in her living room? Why the fuck is Fred dying? Not that I'm complaining, of course. Why is he dying?
Man, I'm so glad these Family Man cutaway gags came back. This time on the budget of 2 whole Chipotle burritos.
So Fred starts screaming again, just like me internally, all the time. Fred's mom keeps trying to, act, as suddenly the comedically shitty-looking bus pulls up. That guy looks like he touches children.
So Fred does one long funny scream for an unbearable amount of
I'm
time.
just gonna apologize in advance for what I'm about to do.
This scream lasts for over 30 seconds.
At this point, I would choke him out and take the felony.
And the funny part is that doing Fred clearly shot Lucas's voice. You can hear his voice straining, dude. So not only is the scene unbearable, but it's also kind of underwhelming.
Impressive.
Fred then arrives at the camp and meets a washed-up Mr. Incredible, who introduces everyone to Camp I Wanna Pee-Pee, which is apparently an old Native American term, and it means...
Blessed ray of sunshine. So let me be the first to give you all the official camp greeting. I want to pee-pee on you. I want to pee-pee on all of you.
These movies make the pedophile jokes way too easy. So Fred eats shitty food at the shitty cafeteria, then it turns out the shitty bus driver is also a shitty cook.
I'm also the counselor, trail guide, lifeguard.
And I'm a convicted felon.
Fred then meets a bunch of new friends who are like way younger than him. We meet this living nerd emoji, this fat guy who never talks, and the Asian girl who always eats.
So the scrawny Asian girl is always eating, but the fat kid doesn't. Something's not right here.
Wow, Fred, breaking gender norms once again. Oh, and there's one more character.
Last but not least, there's Dig.
Wait, his name is Dick?
Dig, you deaf moron. Wait, they called the black kid Dig? They called him Dig?
Why do they call you Dig?
Because of their goals.
Holy shit, that is incredibly fucked up.
You gotta be ashamed of yourself. Real talk, you gotta be ashamed of yourself. Old as you is.
Also, it's revealed that this camp nurse, what are those particle effects? Does this movie have DLSS set to ultra performance mode?
Jesus Christ, her forehead looks like the moon.
Damn, look at my fucking forehead.
This is followed by a burp noise.
This is followed by a fart noise. They're just checking off dumb shit at this point.
Fred then meets up with Mr. Incredible again, who has a mosquito bite, and that's the whole joke.
But amongst the gross-out humor, it's revealed that their camp is participating in the summer game, which is where people in different summer camps compete against each other.
Wow, I wonder if Fred would win that. That would be amazing if he did.
Amazing, and totally not arbitrary.
How long have these games been going on?
69 years.
Holy shit, funny number, funny number, funny number, funny number.
My grandfather had a prophecy that one day a very special boy would come to this camp and lead us to victory.
Special is certainly not incorrect.
That special young boy is you.
Me?
No, not you. I said you. Is it Hugh Thompson over there?
Oh, he didn't mean you, he meant Hugh, because those two words sound similar. It's a bait and switch.
You know, if your joke wasn't funny when you didn't have to explain it, it most likely means it won't be funny when you explain
So
it.
Fred goes to the woods and meets a scary man and runs away screaming because that's funny. But it turns out the scary guy just wants to give him a map, which is funny because it's a bait and switch.
They told the same joke structure twice in a row. Fred then bumps into the pedophile bus driver guy and... What is happening?
Of course, when I get bumped into, I reenact sleeping dogs as well.
Fred has disturbed the pedophile's ritual, and now he will pay the price.
There's some crazy old guy trying to get me.
Don't worry about it. That's just Scary Gary the maintenance man.
You get it? Because he's old and gross and scary. And scary rhymes with Gary.
I need my love.
And old people are stinky.
But it turns out the pedophile guy wants to date the nurse. Wait, how old is she?
Good question. Cut up on her head and check your carbon dating.
And when I say dating, I mean I haven't actually talked to her yet.
Fred then makes it into his cabin, which is, like everything else in the camp, a pile of shit.
I'd like to know this movie has a grand total of 2 jokes.
Fred then goes to the bathroom only for...
Shrek.
Thanks, Shrek. You're welcome, laddie.
If you have to use it at night, bring a buddy. A couple years ago, one of the campers had a little accident.
He was molested. Okay, you edited these. It's not up for debate anymore.
I can sue for libel.
So Fred whines about how bad this place is and plans on escaping. Pretty sure he won't grow to like it or anything by the end of the film. That would be just predictable, which these movies totally aren't.
That night, Fred attempts to dig out of camp I Want to Kill Myself. Then get an imagination scene where he crawls into a desolate area. But he gets caught by...
Kill him. Scott, kill him. Fucking kill him.
You know what we do to kids who try to escape from Camp I Want a Pee-Pee?
We molest them.
Fred then imagines the kids eating him in the food.
Wow, the cannibalist angle of this film certainly proves for an interesting artistic direction.
Fred then wakes up in his bed in his normal room.
Oh, Mom, I had the most horrible nightmare.
With a normal voice?
Also, I had this weird, sped-up chipmunk voice that got really annoying after a while.
Oh, golly. I love self-aware humor where it points out the flaws without actually fixing them.
Looks like Fred finally learned the Chippendale Rescue Ranger style of comedy.
You can't hurt my feelings if I'm in on the joke.
So they did an imagination gag, followed by another imagination gag. Somehow that's the most creative thing they've done in this movie.
Fred then actually wakes up, sad and lonely. But in his lowest moment, John Cena hops out of a fridge and murders Fred.
I'm shocked they can still afford him. The film already looks noticeably cheaper than the first 2.
The producers were clearly insistent on keeping John Cena in.
Well, this is the only scene he appears in before fucking up entirely. So they could afford him, just not for any significant amount of time.
The kids from earlier then approach Fred having a nervous breakdown. They comfort him before it's revealed that Fred touched poison ivy.
Another gross-out gag. Hysterical.
Fred meets the nurse who gives him toothpaste for his poison ivy. This leads to a hilarious interaction where Fred says he needs aloe, but the nurse, who is German apparently, thinks he's saying hello.
Hello! We've met many times.
Did they hire this actress from Pornhub?
We then cut to a ghost story scene, which leads into another imagination scene, which looks like it was shot in the camera they used to film demo reel.
And in the story, Fred imagines a crocabera moose, while a guy in a shitty costume sneaks up behind him and jump scares him. Five Nights at Freddy's.
But then apparently it turns out it's a real creature in the real world? What?
So Fred tries to kill it, but it's just the pedophile guy in a costume. Another bait and switch. I'm honestly impressed at how they combine their 2 jokes in these different ways. It's like the most unpredictable, predictable thing.
Impressive. Very nice.
Fred then leaves the nurse's room after tending to the bus pedo, but not before seeing everyone bury what he thinks is a dead body.
Fuck that shit, though. And cut to Fred writing a letter to his mom. He hears about this thing called the rat hole, and about a mysterious illness going around. And the counselor's putting perk 30s in the food.
We get more unfunny gags, including the thinking mustache.
Time to put on my thinking mustache. All right,
Just keep going and going and going and going and going and going and going.
So Fred discovers something. I couldn't tell you what it is, though, because honestly, it's all white noise after Fred starts screaming.
Fred then explains his plan to find some camp conspiracy.
Oh my god, look at that prop.
The actors aren't even frozen in editing. They're just standing still. They're moving in the shot.
And for some reason, Fred also thinks the counselor is a rat creature?
Just like his teacher was a vampire pedophile. 'Cause that went well for him, didn't it?
Well, actually, it did, until they just forgot about it the first second this movie began.
Fred then starts eating grass. And I won't win any awards for saying this, but I think he has brain damage.
You know, if Fred can touch grass, then what's the average Twitter user's excuse?
Fred then eats poison berries and gets fucking high, but why would we want to see
But
this?
then the crocabera moose comes out and...
You know what I do when I'm not feeling very good?
What's that?
I rap. You want to rap with me?
You know, there really aren't enough ways to say I want to fucking off myself.
My name is Fred. I'm sick in the head.
Fred then vomits because of gross out humor, and then meandering happens.
Go on a date with me?
No goat meat.
Is the joke that she's foreign? The joke is so unfunny. I think my brain is preventing me from getting it. All the while, the kids plan on taking Fred to the rat hole.
Let's show Fred what Camp I Want to Pee-Pee is all about.
Oh no, they're gonna piss in his
So
mouth.
they kidnap Fred, and it turns out the rat hole is actually a wickedly awesome man cave for epic and based kids. Complete with Christmas lights, a soda shooting machine, and rock band controllers with no visible console or TV. So in other words, the Fred 2 plot is just repeated, where Fred thinks bad things are happening to him, but turns out it's just his imagination.
Yeah, at least the first film has a somewhat adventurous plot, and the second one has another plot, but this movie feels like it doesn't even know what a plot is. It feels like it's going through whatever motions Fred 2 has, only instead of vampires, it's a goddamn summer camp.
What about the blue pills I saw Floyd and Murray planting into the gruel?
Holy shit, the editing is awful. Was the fade effect done in Windows Movie Maker?
What about all the kids getting sick around camp?
Have you seen Oksana?
They're literally cutting off the characters' dialogue. What is this shit? Did you edit this, Dumbsville?
You know, Butters, it's time I came clean. I didn't edit any of this. I'm sorry I led you on for so long, but...
You know I was joking, right?
So then there's some fireworks and there's a toilet joke.
Seriously?
Wow, that is some shit acting.
This movie is shit acting.
But suddenly, Kevin comes out, and turns out he's at Camp Superior, which is the camp Fred wanted to go to at the beginning of the movie! And they're competing against each other, oh no!
And the worst part, they try cracking jokes. I'm gonna kill myself. So the summer camp games begin, and I can't wait to not laugh during this scene's many jokes.
Oh, and also the summer camp games? Yeah, only 2 camps are competing. I Want a PP and Camp Superior.
Everyone knows there's only 2 summer camps in the whole world.
Welcome to the 70th annual summer camp game,
where we pit a rich white city against an impoverished neighborhood. First up is the archery contest, and Hugh, the strong big man in the camp's golden calf, is up to bat. So Fred grabs him a javelin.
This would usually be the moment where I accidentally do something that screws everything up.
Fred, stop.
Here you go, Hugh.
Oh, wow. Who would have guessed? Fred screwed everything up. It's so not predictable.
But Butters, they made a self-aware joke about it, and you can't hurt their feelings if they're in on the joke.
You can't hurt my feelings if I'm in on the joke.
So Fred fucks everything up because this film ran out of other jokes.
Seriously?
That has to be the unfunniest reoccurring joke in the universe. So Camp Superior is winning at every game, and they end up winning the first day by a landslide. Oh no.
This causes I Want a PP's morale to nosedive. So Fred tries cheering them up. Sadly, it's Fred trying to cheer them up.
Come on, you guys aren't even gonna laugh at a burp. It's the second funniest sound the human body can make.
That sounds like something the writing team for Fred 3 would say.
But then Fred convinces everyone to be the best at being the worst.
We're the best at being the worst.
And just like that, the team's morale is boosted back up. Remember, kids, always settle for mediocrity.
Just resort to war crimes and you'll win.
And believe it or not, this ends up working, with them winning the very next day.
Furthermore, and conveniently, they're doing competitions that involve gross out humor. Also, there's a romance subplot between the silent kid and the eating disorder girl. This is established 2/3 into the movie.
We also see Fred eating cheese fries with a monkey butler. Yeah, this is definitely a Fred movie.
And naturally, he wins. However, there is one more competition.
Songwriting competition.
My pipes be a slammin'.
Yeah, they be slamming.
Slamming these nuts down your throat.
So the competition begins.
I love to rap, rappity rap.
Yep, that is definitely a white rapper.
Catch you in a trap, give you a big slap.
Did he just say get your bitch slapped?
Wow, they were right. This new Jack Harlow really is trash.
Just drop the mic.
God, it's the stock cheering sound effect.
You know, there's a real dissonance between the actual sound and the actual enthusiasm of the crowd.
That was off the hizzy!
Okay, it's been confirmed. This is absolutely white.
Oh, and there's a really funny joke in this scene, too. So they announced that Simon Cowell is a celebrity guest, but it turns out it's some random guy who's also named as Simon Cowell.
Pop culture bait and switch. Amazing comedy.
Fred then talks to Kevin and is all like...
It's funny, I thought for sure you'd have some sort of evil plan up your sleeve to ruin my whole entire song.
But it turns out Kevin has a gruel blaster that will embarrass him, even though that would disqualify him.
But thankfully, this film made a joke about how derivative this is, meaning it's actually a metafictional masterpiece that's in on the joke.
You can't hurt my feelings if I...
Ignoring all that, Fred starts to sing the loser song.
This is for the losers, sing it all
It's really shit.
Man, they're really struggling to keep up with this goofy beat. They all win, and that's about it.
Oh, and the grill machine malfunctions and strips Kevin naked for some reason.
But at long last, summer camp ends, and Fred is separated from his new friends. However, he is content knowing that he spent his summer making beautiful memories out of the worst of situations. And I'm content knowing this shit is over. So that was Fred 3. I fucking hated it. What did you think, Butters?
I think I want to vomit then stick a 12 gauge in my mouth. This is just bad. I think this might be one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever seen. I've seen some pretty bad movies. This makes the Ghostbusters reboot look good. That's really hard to do.
Yeah, I agree with those lines you sent me over Discord, Butters. Fred 3 is genuinely one of the worst movies ever made, and easily the worst in the whole trilogy. The first two films at least had some redeeming qualities, like one for each movie. But this movie is just a painful, unfunny joke after painful, unfunny joke. The characters are all shit, and not memorable in the slightest. They're just comedic archetypes where their entire personalities are just one single joke. And not to mention, the story feels like two generic plots fused together, going from a conspiracy movie to a sports movie. It feels like everyone on the Fred 3 team had no actual new ideas, and were running themselves dry in a franchise that already ran its course by the first outing. And yet they wanted to rush to the finish line so they could stop working on this thing. This shit was cringy, unfunny, cheap-looking, obnoxious, pointless, unengaging, and not to mention broken, like my roof. And speaking of which...
Damn, is this a lore connection to the last episode of the Funny Dumbsville channel?
Stop changing the topic, I need you to...
Well, bye.
You didn't even pay for my roof!
Fuck you in the lanes you came with. Me and you ain't on the same shit. You ain't in my lane, bitch, nah. Throw that shit in fifth, rollie on my wrist. Ay, baby, you a star, I'm my only wish. I'm counting blue honeys, I'm too money. Ay, and my little bitch, she too lovely. Yeah, hanging up and calling me right back. Ay, baby, why you calling me like that? Yeah, getting high with the seat laid back. Baby, gon' relax, yeah. Hey, they don't know the half, yeah. No matter what happened, I got your back. Baby, that's the facts, yeah. That's the facts, yeah. Yeah, we can fight, but the feeling's gone. I try to find the words, but they never come. I can still see you on the lawn. Hey, laying outside in the summer sun. Yeah, we can fight, but the feeling's gone. I try to find the words, but they never come. I can still see you on the lawn, hey, laying outside in the summer sun. Hey, I'm with a dark-skinned girl on a Sunday, that's that Black Sabbath. She put them ones all down on a Hyundai, and she had to have it. And she gone through ready for the runway, shawty, you the baddest. Ay, baby, that's the facts, yeah, that's the facts, yeah.
What is going on